Yeah, so there goes the crack. Maybe. I see why I was gone for a second and started U-shaping again, but looks like it got held up again at that 200 day moving average, which I said would be pretty strong. Well, it didn't quite get all the way up there. Now, yeah, like I said, this press release wasn't the best. On the outside, it looks really good, but I guess sexual arousal disorders are really never a good thing until they find a cure. That won't be that good. Now, I apologize. I had to run real quick. The issues with live streamings, life things can happen. My sister's getting married this weekend, and they went over budget on some other things and didn't buy enough alcohol, so they were calling for some help with that. My wife was kind of freaking out. So that's what happens. Now I'm not seeing. I do have the chat up now. I can see if anybody types anything. Uh, there's not really a lot going on today, and that's just sometimes how it is. Let's see. Let's do a scan. Make sure I'm not missing anything. EFOI. This is probably. Whoops. I imagine this is probably an OTC stock, but I don't know for sure yet. So CLDC, I think that was an OTC. I'm just trying to look at some of these guys and see if I'm missing anything because I'm not seeing anything yet. Okay. Ooh, we don't have a press release though. So that doesn't do anything. Hmm. That's not really good. Is this OTC or did it get halted? Where my time and sales go? Okay, what's going on here? I just realized I didn't have my time and sales up. So I've got my level 2s here. Where's my time and sales? See, I'm not set up with my two screens. Whoops. Normally, okay, there it is. Okay, so that's what's wrong. Normally, I have my two screens up and this fits that. And now I'm just on my laptop, so it's not fitting. Okay, that's time and sales. They're still holding up $1. It's still worth watching until it cracks $1, but it does have support at the 50-week moving average at 97 cents. Because this could do one big U shape. Let's look at the 5-day. Yeah, so if you look, or the 5 minute, if you look at the 5 minute, it got held up by the VWAP here. Bouncing, we're starting to make another little U shape. So we'll keep watching it. Might just take it a little bit to get going. The reason I jumped the gun on this too is because I've made money on this stock before. I'm very familiar with Dare, and usually when it has any type of good press releases, you can see this thing was way up here. It had a nice gap up, and of course it gave back all of its gains, but when I saw it didn't have a very big gap up with positive news and nothing else was going on, I thought, well, this could be really good. But sometimes you have to read a little further into the press release. I'm going to do a video on press releases, what are good ones and ones that are okay and stuff like that as well. And the pattern video will be up tonight. So let's look and see what else we got. Jill. So this was a good mover. Well, no, it only went at 15 cents. It has no press release, no type of no reason to trade it. So when you get a lot of stocks, I'm sorry, when you don't get very many stocks doing too much, you end up having, this is a press release. Okay, this just came out. So let's see, was it? Yeah, I'll say, okay. All right, so this might be the play because this is halted already. It just came out 7 minutes ago with this press release. Transmitter receivers deployed at first. What did that say? Come back. American Battle Royale. Okay. So I guess that's good. I don't know. It started going straight up and got halted. So let's see what this does out of this halt. Let's narrow this list down. Where did we go from 150 to $2? Yeah, that was a nice move. Nice 50-cent move. I don't. I guess it's good. I mean, I don't really know anything about that, but it's DSE. What's it? Oh yeah, it's VISL. Okay, so we're gonna take these other guys off. They're starting to move back again. So now what's going to happen if Dare starts coming back up and VISL gets unhalted? These two could fight for the volume. VISL has a very small float though, so that's good. Let's see, we got resistance at 238 though. But this guy's shown it can move before. Big spike there all the way up to 370. So let's keep this guy on watch. As soon as this, we won't watch it as soon as it gets unpaused, but we're going to also go back and forth here. One, three. So volume is starting to die off a little bit on this guy. So we got a low there. A low there. So we're starting to build higher lows again. You see, it tried to break the VWAP here. It didn't do much. We really need it to do the U shape and break that 200-day moving average. So we'll keep watching it, but let's go back to VISL. How long has this been halted for? It's halted on the circuit breaker, 13 minutes. So we got about 3 more minutes. Now, if VISL opens up, it gets unpaused and it starts getting a lot of volume, all the volume is probably going to leave from there and it's not going to do anything. Let's see, is there anything else? Well, we got 3 minutes. None of these look like they have any type of press releases. Pretty high. Yeah, so VISL looks like the play probably. We don't want to buy right out of that halt either, though. We want to see what it does. there still holding up. A lot of buys here at $1. So it looks like it's probably going to hold up $1, but depends on what VISL does with volume. 13, so 2 more minutes. I'll make sure I'm not missing anything else. We do have a bit of a U shape under the VWAP here. On our walk, broke back above the VWAP, but still you got resistance of 575, so it's not much room there. And then the volume is like completely died off. You got the white dashes here, so I don't think that'd be good. All right, so while we got 1 more minute, let's read this press release really fast. Making his appearance, exploding esports market, camera equipment. Does the EMAs matter? Yes, and because of the resistance, that like VISL, it's pretty much wide open up to 238 here. Even though it looks like these are close, they're really not. 178, 238, and it's a 60-cent difference. So it looks like it's about to get unhalted here. Oh man, right up through there, but let's see. That's just a gap up. It's about to get halted again. I don't think I can get in fast enough. It's going to get halted again. There's the halt. Ask is all the way up to 367. So like when the EMAs, I knew this was the play. As soon as I saw that it was halted, but man, the buying volume is coming in insane. Anyway, yeah. So too close. If they're too close together, it really depends on the pattern. So like the 50-day is kind of strong on this one. As you can see, it just busted right through it, but it's got, I guess, a really good press release. That's what I was trying to read before it got unhalted. But you can see here it busted through that 50-day there before. So the 50-day on here is not as strong, but if you go back to like there, you've got this resistance here. The 200-day EMA is going to be tough. As you see, it was riding below the 9 EMA, and it's kind of been popping up. Okay, so the 9 EMA is like a back and forth support and resistance, and then this 50 EMA has been holding up as resistance. You can see it hit here and came back down, and it's not quite got back up there, but with this press release, it gapped up over it. And so now your next line of resistance is right here at this 200-day moving average. You can see it almost hit there. So it went from down here to going through one resistance line. It's going to be hard to get through this other EMA. And then plus you have this gap here at 125. See this big space and price. So 125 is going to hold up as resistance. So like you really don't want a lot of resistance ahead of you, where stocks can get held up a lot easier. So like VISL, now that it's through this 50, it's got room all the way up to the 477 mark for the 200 EMA. So it's got a lot of room to move. I mean, there's this natural resistance right here at 373. That's going to hold up because you can see where this line is. It's shooting right across. There's this hit here, this hit here, this hit here, this hit here. So for some reason, that's some type of resistance. So you kind of want the 200 EMA to be pretty far away so that you have plenty of room to run, because these EMAs are always going to hold up as pretty strong resistance. And so you don't want it like this on there, the press release is not that fantastic. So like if it was a huge press release, like back here, whatever this was, you can see it can bust through all three. But with like an okay press release and not a ton of volume back here, I mean there's some here, but it's not going to get through all three. Like you have to keep in mind this is three walls. If you uppercut somebody in Mortal Kombat, they're only going to go through one ceiling. So, you know, the uppercut happens here. They go up, hit the second ceiling, and fall back down to this. So to get through this ceiling, you're going to have to build up again. You're going to have to fight them and beat them down some, and then uppercut them again to knock them through this ceiling. So that's why I was saying Dare's going to have to keep working to build up to that 200 EMA, even if it broke through back here where right around here where I was saying it could. It needed to build up to it, because even if it would have, it wouldn't have went on a huge rip. Like I said, the next line would have been at 125, which I said then. So at 125 would have been my selling point. So only from 111 to 125 was a 15-cent move. That's all I was expecting out of this. And maybe if it broke that 125, getting a bigger move. But it just never got there. This is just holding up as too strong of resistance, because like I said, it's got to build back up. It's got to beat that Mortal Kombat opponent down before it uppercuts them through the ceiling again. You have to build up for breaks like that. Now, and that's just because it wasn't a great press release. It was a decent press release, but it wasn't that great. Where apparently this guy's press release is something phenomenal to them, whoever supports this company, because I mean it busted through that one, busted through this one. So now we got room to move up to, like I said, 375, 378 area, and then 477. So this has plenty of room to move. You always want more room to move. Oops, so I just lost CTRV. So I'm trying to see if I can, yeah, so excuse me just a second. All right, so if you look at CTRV at these EMAs, you get above this guy, you've got room to go all the way up to $59. So that's why you want the space between them. This is a good example. From 12 to 59, if this thing gets some type of good press release, it could take off, and plus there's no resistance back here. There's this big gap and there's not any resistance until $59. So, whoa, what just happened? Did I click on the wrong chart or something? I don't know what just happened. Okay. So still, okay, I don't know what happened there, but it's still the same thing. This is actually a good pattern. This is a squeeze pattern. I go over it in the video, but basically the stock makes a triangle and the stock gets squeezed between these two EMAs, so it pops up above them. But once again, so like this EMA is all the way up at 23, 200, so you got plenty of room to move on this guy. Now, if they're all three really close together, I'd have to look for. See, when did this get paused? I just want to keep an eye on this 23. So 3 more minutes. So if they're really close together, I don't know if I can find one. Let me look really close. So see, these are plays like this are kind of tricky too, because you got all three EMAs below. So the stock is very bullish, but you just never know how high it's going to keep going. But because it's been bullish for this amount of time, and if it came out with a good press release, which looks like it did, yeah, approved cancer drug, $11 billion deal. So I mean, there's nothing holding this back. With a good press release, you see what happened: 32 to 46. There's no resistance other than natural resistance, but there's no EMAs. There's no past chart resistance. This thing had room to go and got a good press release. So But if there's three of them close, so we got 2 more minutes. I'm trying to find one. I can't really find one, but say the 200. I need more on a flat looking stock. This thing's kind of been up and down all the time. Okay, let's go back to Dare. So Dare back here, if this 200-day EMA was way down here with these two, and they were kind of all just like riding beside each other, that's going to hold up as a pretty strong resistance because it's multiple EMAs once again. But if you bust through that, then you've got all that room to run because there's nothing above it. See, once it came above the 50 and 9, it broke above and hit that 200 and came back down. It's hard to bust through the 200 EMA. You have to have a really good press release and a lot of volume. Rarely, because most of the time the 200 EMA on these stocks is higher up on the chart. So, like I said, you have to build up to that type of break. So if this guy comes out of this halt and keeps climbing, which I'd be kind of surprised if it doesn't have a pullback and just starts going straight up again. But if it keeps climbing and it breaks this 375 area, 477 is going to be really tough. You want to think of it, you want to think of these stocks as like, fighters or athletes. They can only go so long before they get tired. At some point, they're going to get exhausted and they're going to not be able to keep pushing forward. So like I said, here's the pullback. So I'd be very surprised if this thing opens up and goes straight up like it did that first halt. Halts are tricky because after a couple of halts, people kind of get scared to get in that stock. And you can see it's all over the place right now. But you could, 280 to 230. Somebody just got destroyed. That's why I say you got to wait after a halt to see what a stock does. Yeah, and then the sound's coming in. This thing's going to get halted on the way down. Yep, and there it is. So, whew. And now if you look at the daily, it gapped up and busted through that 50-day. Nice little run. But the 50 held up as resistance back here. And it looks like it's going to hold up as resistance again. Because, I mean, this thing is crashing hard. We went from 321 all the way down to 233. So that was $1 very quickly. So at this point, because this thing moves so fast, we're going to have to wait and see what happens here. But $2, see where's $2? EMA is close to that. So $2 could hold up as support because you do have it held up as resistance here, and then you had the big move. So this could go all the way back down to $2 and maybe make a U shape. You could look to maybe buy a bounce play at $2. I actually want to read this press release because the way it exploded. Oh, okay. All right. That's why this stock went crazy, because this thing had a press release, about being positive, or a positive press release about them introducing their cameras into the esports thing. And they are specifically known for Fortnite. If you know anything about gaming and PUBG or gaming, and you know about PUBG or Fortnite, you know those games are hot right now. So there's probably a lot of traders who saw Fortnite and PUBG having to do with the stock. They probably didn't even like, they were probably reading and just saw that and got super excited, like, oh my god, my favorite video game is this stock has got something to do with, and it's happy, so they just bought in. So that would explain why this thing went ballistic right out the gate, because the press release is good, uh, but I was a little confused of why as soon as it opened up here at this halt, it just went all the way up. So that's funny. Fortnite. That's ridiculous. So this probably is not going to move much more because serious traders and stuff like that, they're probably took the time to read into that press release and then realized, oh, okay, that's great. This has got something to do with Fortnite and PUBG, but this press release isn't that amazing. So, I mean, it's not a bad press release, but it's not that serious. You know, you're talking about a company releasing their transmitters and receivers at the first North American Battle Royale esports arena. So it's cool. It's a cool press release. Like it probably hit like IGN and all the gaming networks, and a lot of people, like, you probably got a lot of people who don't even trade stocks. Just like went and tried to buy this real quick. So that's funny. Sometimes you got to read into the press releases, but like I said, I'll do the press release video going over what to do with those. And there's still held up $1, but like I said, this has been an interesting day because women's see wow, yeah, this has been an interesting day. So Viagra cream and Fortnite have been the stocks that have been interesting. And this is the OTC stock. This is just a pump and dump. I mean, there's no reason for it to be moving. Well, I guess it's still moving off of something to do with Amazon, but you know, OTC stocks are garbage. So I do want to see what this does when it opens up out of this. Oh, here we go. Let's see if it drops down to $2 or if the excitement comes back in it. I mean, if we could kill a little U shape, you know, this could be worth playing because that type of excitement, a mainstream type of excitement, can really move a stock. You know, if it's just us traders, you know, just looking to make quick money and stuff, we don't really care about that. But people who game, people who are in that industry, uh, this is probably a big deal to them. And because it has something to do with such a popular game, with two popular games, you know, this stock could start moving. It's just like with Amazon, with NBY and this OTC stock, you get those crazy moves. So it looks like we might get a break of the VWAP here. But let's see. I'm gonna see first. I'm not touching this until I know for sure that this isn't going to crash back down to $2 because this from 321 down to 230 in a couple of minutes is really sketchy. So see, it's coming up to the VWAP, but we're not getting that strong break. And it's such a quick play. I'm also afraid if it does get the strong break, it's going to go straight to $3. And I don't want to get in, you know, at $3. I'd rather get in around this 260 area if I'm going to. But we got to get that break. Up. See, we're still Still not quite breaking above that VWAP. It's getting held up, which is making me nervous, but now, okay. We are starting to build higher lows again. See, still getting held up by the VWAP. That's making me nervous. Like, I kind of want to jump in, but because this does have a lot of potential. Like I said, a mainstream type of thing like this, everybody could be excited about this and jumping in it, but at the same time, everybody who could be in it could also be just people who don't do a lot of day trading or stock trading, and it could cause this to be not as predictable. So I'm looking for a predictable entry on this. Like I said, I don't want to get killed. This thing did have a massive drop really fast, so it's a really sketchy play. For a new trader, I would not recommend getting in this. Like, the point to get in this would have been way back here when this press release dropped at 9:10 or 10:10, whatever time you're on. That would have been the spot to get in as soon as that press release dropped, and then you just rode this straight up through the two halts. But there's still potential because there's nothing else going on. So we just want to watch. We are up 70% right now, too, so that's a pretty big gain. So jumping in on a play that's already up this high can be sketchy, too. But we are above the 50 right now, or quite a back above it. So right now, the scary thing is your only support really is at 240. So hopping in now, this thing could easily crash to 240. It's a really sketchy play. The predictability is not really there. Although it is building higher lows. Let's see, do we have a trend line? Normally, yeah, like if the U shape comes around, and this will be in the pattern video, to the VWAP, I'd wait for a strong break of the VWAP. So this was kind of a strong break of the VWAP, but what I'm concerned about on this play, like I said, it's very tricky because it's not the type of volume this is going to have on this play is going to be pretty crazy because anybody could be playing it. So like I said, normally, yeah, the drop, the crash through the VWAP, I wait for a U shape, and you see it doesn't make a very big U shape either. Like I said, it's got to build up, like as what I was saying earlier. But at the same time, the type of publicity we're talking about here on this stock with Fortnite and PUBG makes it to where there's a whole new element to this trade, because there's going to be people who are not normal traders. Like everybody and their mama who plays games are probably looking at this right now. So it brings an element of new volume that makes it hard to decipher what it's going to do. Because if the day traders got back in here at this press release, and then after 15 minutes, somebody saw on Facebook, oh, this stock got something to do with PUBG and Fortnite, then they started trying to hop in on their Robinhood accounts or whatever. Then you start getting unusual. Well, I don't want to say unusual because this is probably unusual volume looking at this chart. It's high and unusual volume, but you're getting a whole nother unusual element. Yeah, it is riding the VWAP. I mean, you could get in here and try to hold as long as it stayed above the VWAP. But like I said, I'm scared because this thing crashed through the VWAP back here a whole dollar. So, it's kind of sketchy. And the whole unknown element of what comes along with this type of stock. But I mean, you could get in here and hold. And we're starting to get the move up to $3. Oh man. it's just hard because the predictability is not quite there. Like it is riding this VWAP right now. It broke through it. It is riding it. But the fact that it can crash $1 is really that fast is really scary because like you could get in right now and just go, poof. And then you could also get in and it could go straight up. But that's the problem. There's no real predictability on this thing because of what this has to do with. So the trend line's not there. Let's see. This is a small U shape, which makes me nervous. It's on the 1 minute, so this is only, the first drop 1, 2, and 3. We're back up to the VWAP. It's only a little small 3 minute, more of a V than a U shape. Let's see on the 5-day. Do we have any pattern? Not really. I guess you could kind of say this is a flag. So, oops. Kind of got a bull flag going on here. Come on now. On the 5 minute. So the break of $3 would be the break of this bull flag. The flag pattern will be on there, but basically the bull flag is you have a flagpole, which is this big move up here. So this would be the flagpole, and then this would be the flag. But you can kind of see it's kind of a weird pattern. That's not a very pretty bull flag. So let's go back to the 1 minute. We are getting a triangle here, so that's good. We got an 11-cent spread. So this riding a VWAP, which is good. We are in this triangle, building higher lows. So I think it's this. We'll probably get a move here. Let's see. Do I want to try to limit in, or do I mark it in? See, I'm also afraid to mark it in because I don't want it to shoot up crazy and me get filled way up. Although I probably should have marked it in right there. So yeah, see now we're above this triangle. Well, almost. Man, this is such a sketchy play. So I want to put in 2.81. What's the VWAP? 271. Whew. I'm gonna. Mm, mm, mm. So see, we're above that. Oh, we're above the little flag there. Kind of. It's like that's the thing. It's not usually. Usually, you get a nice move up out of this, and here it comes. Here comes the nice move. Maybe. See, it's not busting through right away either. This predictability is like it's kind of there at this moment, but it's not. It's not doing what it should, and that's what keeps throwing me off. Why I keep trying not to get in this. I keep hesitating because it's so sketchy. And 321 is going to hold up as resistance too. I mean, this stock is. What are we up now? Yeah, we're almost up 100% at this point. It's hard to buy in a stock that's 100% because, like I said, how much more can it go? Like, how tired is this stock? Okay, so it's breaking through at 321, kind of. Where'd you get in at? If you got in around the VWAP right down here, you're pretty good. You probably made about 50, 60 cent share of profit just by getting in back here. The flag size, Kind of. You got it in 289. You sell up there at 340. The flag size. I mean, you don't want like a really short flag. This is a nice long. This is. I said this looks like a bull flag. This is more of a wedge uh, than it is a bull flag at this point because it kind of stretched out. Like this is kind of a long flag. In the patterns video I talk about, I try to keep it simple. Basically, this is a triangle. Whether it's a bull flag, a wedge, or whatever technical term you want to call it, it's still a triangle. And triangles and U shapes are what we look for. So this triangle is a nice, decent sized triangle. All you want to make sure is that when the triangle is starting to form, that this thing goes all the way towards the end of it before it breaks out. So like you see here, it got almost to the end of the triangle, so the triangle would continue like right there, and then it broke out. So that's the big thing. Good job on that play though. Like I was very hesitant because like I said, there's a lot of unknown elements. But that VWAP entry was a good, pretty decent entry in there at the break of this triangle. I mean, that was pretty predictable. I just get nervous on plays where I don't know what exactly it's going to do. Like I like to know for sure that I have a good idea what it's going to do. And this guy, that type of press release is really sketchy because, like I said, there's a whole unknown element of who is on this stock right now, who's buying this stock and selling this stock, because it's not just day traders. You know, there could be 13-year-old kids on their mom and dad's computer right now buying this stock because of PUBG and Fortnite, which is a good thing because if they're buying it, it's going up. But at the same time, where's all the day traders at selling this thing? So, good job, good job. Let's see, we got to move up the. See, this thing's still going, and don't beat yourself up about this thing still going. If you're trying to build an account, you know, getting in at 289 and selling it 340 area, you still made a decent profit on this guy because, like I said, it's up 100%. Now it's up 112%. Like, how far can this thing really go? And that's the thing with like a lot of stocks. Once they're up 100%, it's hard to trade them. But like I was saying, this unknown element, this thing can also. I mean, if everybody who plays PUBG starts buying into this thing, people are waking up and looking at their phone and seeing this. Still holding 100. Okay, well, it's not too bad. Normally, I like to sell my whole position unless I'm in like 2,000 or 3,000 shares, but that's okay. Holding 100 shares. I mean, you locked in a profit, so as long as this thing stays up and you're not losing any money, that's fine. Because, like I said, it could keep going. I mean, it's got room to go to 477. It's just hard to tell. Like, I don't know how far it's going to go, honestly. Like 375 is this resistance. That's not quite got there yet, but I mean, I don't know. Like I said, it's hard to tell at this point. It's it's so gambly for me, but it's still above the VWAP. So I mean, it's still bullish as long as it's above the VWAP. That's good. You really don't want it to break below $3 though right now, because $3 is your natural support. So you want it to hold up, and you like to see it actually get above 350 and hold 350 support. And you see, I told you with all the volume into VISL, Dare was gonna start cracking. See, all the volume is gone. No volume here. VISL, all the volume's here. So that's perfect example of knowing where the volume goes, because this volume you want to follow. You see back here, Dare had the volume here, and then it was gone. Back to VISL. Come on. But this is why I want to teach this stuff, because I have my own mental blocks that prevent me right now from it's been an issue as long as I've been day trading. Like, I know how. I know the plays to be on. I know uh, what I'm looking for, what I'm looking at, when I need to get in, when I need to get out, things like that. Like, I was even contemplating back here. I was back and forth saying, hesitating. But if people know what I know, they can make money. They just don't need that mental block that I have that sometimes makes me hesitate. But yeah, so back on VISL. So that's what I was saying. The volume, there's a lot of thick volume here, no volume there. Well, I mean, there's some volume, but you can see the difference. Like, a lot of volume, no volume. All the volume left and went to VISL. So no volume, all the volume. So we was on the right play. This was the right play. I said back here at this halt when I first found it, I said, this is probably the play. And it was. So back here it almost hit $2. That's something I was saying too. We could get a bounce off of $2. That would have been a hell of an entry at that bounce. $1.57 possibly in profit. Yeah, that would have been a hell of a bounce play. It just moved so fast. Like $2 would have been a fantastic entry at 2010 area. But I would have liked it. I'd like to seen it go down a little bit lower, like to actually hit $2 to find that bounce play entry. But the whole break of the VWAP U shape, it still works. U shape here, get the strong break of the VWAP and just let it ride up that VWAP. Very, very simple, effective play. And it works day after day after day. And it looks like that's interesting. So we're starting to get a little curl down this way. As long as it stays above the VWAP, it could curl back around. Like I said, we got to get this build up. We had this shoot up here, and then the stock got tired, came back down, starting to build up, starting to work out. And then we have this breakout here, and now it's starting to get tired. And we got to see if it's going to come back around and start fighting again and maybe have another breakout. But all right, I've got guys coming to work on my house so I can get my office and everything set back up so I don't have to be on this crappy mic. And I can have both my screens up so I can see. So I'm going to hop off here. Good job on that trade, Sid. That was a nice little profit. If you're still holding that 100 shares, like I said, you can just ride it with the VWAP and as long as you want to, and as long as the VWAP holds up and this thing starts U-shaping again, you should be fine. Just don't take a loss. Don't be up in profit and get greedy and think this thing's gonna go to the moon, and then you don't sell that last 100 shares and end up taking a loss on this. Like if you're trying to build up a small account, like $1,000, $2,000. You want to get the profits you can when you have them. But good job on that. And I will be up and ready tomorrow, hopefully with no insanity emergencies happening in the middle of the live stream. And if you have any questions, you can hit me up on Messenger. All right, guys. Till tomorrow.